How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to On the Ball. International break is done and dusted until March, so it is unadulterated Premier League action and a lot of Premier League action from now until the end of the year, and then obviously beyond that as well. So a lot of points to win, a lot of points to lose. The gap at the moment in the Premier League predictions is 105 to 118 in my favour. I built up a nice gap now, but there is a lot of football to be played now.
A lot of points to be won, as they say. I've clawed back bigger gaps. I've also lost bigger gaps as well. So it's not over until it's over. That gap, it looks big now, but it can all be wiped out in 1 week. So Come on.
Absolutely. So look, me and Sim going head to head in predicting Premier League, each and every Premier League match. The way the scoring works, it's 5 points for a completely correct scoreline, 1 point for a correct result, and the star man. Once you pick that man, you can't pick them again for the rest of the season. 5 points for a goal, 2 points for an assist, and let's get into the weekend's action. Starting off at the King Power, Leicester against Chelsea. Both of us gone for Chelsea wins. You've gone for 2-0.
Yeah, I think with Leicester suffering from some injury problems in this one, Fatawu has picked up an ACL going into this game, which is a massive blow for Leicester because he was looking really bright over the last few games. So that'll be a big blow for them. Vardy, a major doubt for this one as well, and Buonanotte is suspended. So a lot of their firepower is going to be out for this one. So I think it's going to be really difficult for them to, create clear-cut chances and get goals in this game. And Chelsea 1 win in 5, so not in the best form, but I think this Leicester team is a good opportunity for them to get back to winning ways, or at least consistently. And I think it's just going to be a standard win for them. So I went for 2-0.
Yeah, I've gone for the same margin, but I've gone for Leicester to grab a goal at home at the King Power. They usually are good for a goal. Yes, a lot of their firepower is out, as well as Buonanotte, who's suspended for yellow cards coming into this one. But I can see them getting a goal, particularly the way Chelsea play. And yeah, I think it will be a routine win for Chelsea. They have had a few players, particularly Cole Palmer, rested during the week. A lot of players were pulled out of the internationals with very mysterious injuries, and I don't think Palmer was injured by any stretch of the imagination. So I think he's been nicely rested, and I think Leicester are going to be on the back of a Cole Palmer hiding. I think he could get. I think he'll be heavily involved in the Chelsea win this weekend. So 3-1 to Chelsea. Sim's gone for 2-0. Let's move over to the Emirates. It's Arsenal against Nottingham Forest. High-flying Nottingham Forest. They're on the same points going into this, quite amazingly. Sim's gone for 2-1 to Arsenal. I have gone for 1-1. I think Nottingham Forest away from home have been so strong this season. Arsenal, obviously, on terrible form, but I did think that it was probably their best performance in recent weeks against Chelsea. However, I'm looking at the way this Nottingham Forest side, and they're going to set up to frustrate at the Emirates. And I think it's a really good setup when you're trying to combat this Arsenal team. This Arsenal team do seem to lack a bit of firepower going forward. So I think Nottingham Forest will be able to handle a lot what Arsenal throw their way. And I think they'll be dangerous on the counter-attack as well with the talent that they do have. So I think it'll be another well, as Arsenal fans would say, a disastrous day at the office.
Yeah, I think Arsenal are going to shade it 2-1. I do see it being a really tight game. I agree with you, but I did think Forest got a bit of a reality check against Newcastle last time out, and I thought they got deservedly beaten and were not the better team in that one. Newcastle deserved the win, and I thought that game kind of exposed a few flaws in Forest's game. And I think with Odegaard being back as well, we saw how well he played at Stamford Bridge. I think he's just kind of going to be that little the key to the lock for the Forest defence in this one. I do see it being a close game. I do think Forest come into this game with a lot of confidence, and as well Arsenal have been struggling to create chances, but I do see Arsenal shading it maybe a set piece or just a bit of magic from Odegaard to open up Nottingham Forest, and I do see Forest getting a goal, but I just think Arsenal shading it 2-1. But if Arsenal draw, I mean, we will go on to Liverpool prediction later, but that you could be predicting 11 points behind.
Yeah.
That's a big gap.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. But yeah, it is a big gap. But look, it is coming into the very busy period, so a big gap can just as well be wiped out pretty quickly, but it also can grow very quickly. So you're coming into a very important part of the season now, and I think it's Liverpool Man City up next weekend. So Yeah, big games to come. But look, let's go to Aston Villa against Crystal Palace. Both of us gone for Villa wins. Sim's gone for 2-0.
Yeah, I don't know if Eze's back for this one. I think he's still injured from what I saw last time. If he's back, I think it might be a bit different. But if Eze's still injured, again, I just think
he's a doubt.
If he's out, I just see them lacking real quality. Obviously, Kamada got sent off in the last game as well. Really poor performance against Fulham, albeit they were in it for the first half, but they collapsed a bit in the second half. And I think this Palace side, they will be setting up with the three at the back, but I'm looking at their front three, and without Eze, it's just not a lot to shout about, and I think Villa will really go at them, and I don't see Villa being too impressive, but I see them getting over the line and getting a 2-0 win here.
Yeah, I've gone for a tight 2-0 win to Aston Villa. I've not been impressed by Aston Villa. I mean, I think in the last 5 games in all competitions, they've got 1 draw to show for themselves, which is really bad form for Villa and Unai Emery. When you look at the form prior to that, they were winning quite a lot of games and getting many points. But Crystal Palace, on the other hand, they've won 1 game all season against Tottenham. And again, the form that Crystal Palace is showing, you thought they were going to kick on after that result against Tottenham, and it just hasn't come. I think they've been very unlucky, maybe with injuries post the Tottenham game. But look, I think that the way Crystal Palace play, they will be able to find the back of the net, particularly as Aston Villa just can't seem to keep the back door shut at the moment. So I think Villa, with the quality that they have, with Ollie Watkins and John Duran off the bench and Leon Bailey and the like, to really hurt this Palace side. But I see it be a really, really tight game. So I've gone for 2-1 to Aston Villa. Next up is Bournemouth against Brighton. We've got the same scoreline here in 2-1 to Bournemouth. I think the way Bournemouth are playing at home at the moment, Arsenal have gone there and lost. Man City have gone there and lost there. They're really performing at the moment at the Vitality. And Brighton, on the other hand, as well, they're in a really good moment as well, winning a lot of games. And I just feel like home advantage is really going to tell in this game. And I think both these sides will definitely come into it fancying their chances. But I think I'm just going to side with the home team.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same. I feel like Bournemouth are riding a wave of confidence at home at the moment. It seems as though they can take on anyone and feel like they can get a result. And Brighton coming into this game, we know that they're going to, try and keep possession. They're going to try and have these patterns of play. But we know Bournemouth, how they like to play. They're so aggressive. They like to get after teams. They're so direct. And against this kind of Brighton team, I think that'll work in their favour. And especially at home, I just think having the crowd behind them, it's going to be a really entertaining game. And I think Bournemouth are going to edge it. So I've gone for 2-1. I had 2-2 and I changed it last minute. So I've gone for 2-1 Bournemouth.
I had a high-scoring draw as well and changed it to 2-1 to Bournemouth. And it's funny enough, these 2 teams are the 2 teams that have beaten Man City in the last 2 games. So both of them are very much high on confidence at the moment. Next up is Everton against Brentford. Both of us gone for the same scoreline again in 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1. I think Brentford aren't so good away from home, but that does need to turn at some point. And I feel like they've been getting good results at home. Obviously, I think the best home record in the league at the moment. But away, I think they've lost every single game. But Everton at the moment, they had a poor performance, I thought, against West Ham before the international break. I thought they started well, but they really faded. And against the Brentford side, really well organised. They got people like Mbeumo and Wissa running in behind and trying to hurt you. And I think Everton at home are going to try and go out and win this game. They know it's a good opportunity to get 3 points. So I do see them not being as pragmatic as they are away from home, which could leave a few more spaces for Brentford. But as well, Brentford's away, poor form. They can be a bit meek and they can be bullied a bit, and that has happened a few times. And they also do suffer against some high-pressing teams, and Everton do actually press quite high when they're at home. So I've gone for a 1-1 draw here.
Yeah, same for me. I feel like with Everton, they know how to grind out these results against this kind of opposition. Last 2 games at home, they've drawn 2, one against Newcastle and one against Fulham. So both two teams that are, in a good moment at the moment. So I feel like Everton will definitely have the know-how to grind out this result. And Brentford, like you say, away from home, they've been poor all season, not won or drawn a game throughout the course of the season. And I feel like they'll get a point. But I think this point will, in terms of stemming the away tide for Brentford, at least they'll get a point on the board, and then they can kind of use it as a building block from there. Fulham against Wolves up next. Again, we've gone for the same scoreline in 1-1. Wolves, I feel like they're getting a little bit of confidence back in the team now. Fulham at home at Craven Cottage, they are really a tough nut to crack. But I feel like, again, this will be 2 sides that really fancy their chances. I think Fulham will obviously be the favourites going into it because they are a very good home side under Marco Silva. They've got threats from either side of the pitch as well. But with Wolves, with the likes of Cunha and Strand Larsen, I think they've got the tools to hurt Fulham as well. So I couldn't really split the sides.
Yeah, I think Wolves' back three is going to be very difficult for Fulham to kind of create loads of chances against. Obviously, Jimenez is in good form, Smith-Rowe's in good form, Wilson's in good form, but they're usually playing against teams who feel like they can beat them, and they're taking advantage of it. I think away with Wolves at home, Wolves are going to actually come in and they're going to try and hit counter attacks, and they actually got a bit more confidence, as you say. Unbeaten in 3, got draws against Brighton, got a draw against. They obviously beat Southampton last time out as well, and they got a draw at home to Crystal Palace, 2-2 draw. So they got a bit more confidence, and I feel like that confidence can get them a point here. So I've gone for 1-1.
All right, now we go into the nighttime kickoff at the Etihad. It is Manchester City against Tottenham, a game which usually produces a lot of goals. Sim has gone for 3-2 to Manchester City.
Yeah, I think just hearing the news, Van der Ven and Romero are going to most likely be missing for this one. That is going to be a big blow for Tottenham going into this game. I think if they were both fit, I would even say there's a good chance of Tottenham getting something out of the game. But unfortunately, that isn't the case. With Dragoshin and Davis at the back, you got to be fearful of that with the firepower Man City have. Yes, Tottenham did beat Man City a few weeks ago with Dragoshin and Davis playing a lot of that game, but they didn't have Haaland in that game, and they will have Haaland in this one. So, and De Bruyne is back as well. He's obviously a different kettle of fish. And as well, the element of City being on the 4 losses on the bounce, meaning they need to get a win here. They can't get anything but a win, especially at home. We're kind of playing a wounded animal. But Tottenham as well need a reaction to their loss against Ipswich. And I do think we will get a bit of a reaction. I do think Tottenham will hurt this Man City side. I do think it's going to be a really entertaining game. We know we can play football against teams who like to come at us, and they're going to press us, and they're going to, try and force high turnovers. And we have the quality to play through them, and we're going to create chances as well. But I just can't see our back line without Van der Ven and Romero holding up to scrutiny. And as well, as you say, Man City, 4 losses in a row. I think it's going to end here. So 3-2 to City.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to come up against an angry Manchester City this weekend. And on the back of 4 defeats, something that hasn't been seen in the Pep Guardiola reign for Man City, or I think ever in Pep Guardiola's managerial career. I don't think he's ever lost 4 in a row. So I think he's going to drill into them. They cannot let this game slip them by, particularly with, they're 5 points behind Liverpool. They don't want that to get any further away. So I feel like Man City are going to be bang at it. The likelihood of coming up against Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland when our top 2 centre-backs are out is a scary thought. And yeah, look, we went up there last year with Emerson and Davis at centre-back when Romero and Van der Ven were out for that game as well, and we came away with a point. But I felt like we were very lucky to come away with a point because they created copious amounts of chances in that first half where the game could have been out of sight by half-time, but just very fortuitous that we weren't. So if they get a similar amount of chances in this game, I feel like they will put the game to bed. And you're looking at the last 3 games we've played at the Etihad. 3-3 last year, 4-2 the year before, and then a 3-2 win the year before that. This game promises goals, and it usually always rains down goals. So I expect it to happen again. But unfortunately, I can't see Spurs getting points in this game because you're talking about the 2 centre-backs being out. But there's also a few doubts going around from the other players as well. Kulusevski's a minor doubt. Basuma's a minor doubt. Even Radu Dragusin's a bit of a doubt coming into this game as well. So if those players are actually out, which I've got to hope and pray and believe that they're not going to be out, then I dread to think what kind of lineup Spurs are going to play. What are we going to do if Dragoshin is actually out?
Who says he's out?
Well, he went off early for Romania, and apparently he came off with a bit of a knock.
Well, if he's out, then I don't know what we're going to do. Honestly, don't know what we're going to do.
So yeah, I'm going 4-2. Sim's going 3-2. Next up is Southampton against Liverpool. Sim's going for 3-0 to Liverpool. I've going for 3-1. Again, I think the way Southampton play, they can definitely cause Liverpool a couple of problems. But I can't see anything but a Liverpool routine win here. And the likes of Salah, who's banging form at the moment. Darwin Núñez is scoring goals here and there at the moment as well. You got Luis Diaz on the back of a hat-trick in the Champions League a couple of weeks ago. So I feel like Liverpool are going to be way too strong for Southampton here. Yeah,
Southampton have been improving of late. Obviously, they only lost 1-0 to City a few weeks ago, what was actually quite a tight game. They beat Everton, but I think the loss to Wolves will tell me that they're still not going in the right direction because they got really outplayed in that game. And I think Liverpool just so confident at the moment. They're batting away most tests that come their way, even away from home. They've got so much firepower. And I feel like, again, with Southampton, they only have one way of playing, and that's possession football, trying to outplay the opposition, and I just don't think it's going to work against the Liverpool side. Albeit I think Trent might be out, but I think they've got the cover to cope for this kind of game. So I've gone for a 3-0 win to Liverpool.
Next up is Ipswich against Manchester United in Ruben Amorim's first game in charge as the Manchester United manager. Ipswich obviously on the back of that brilliant 3 points at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Sim has gone for a 2-2. He's gone for a Desmond.
I think it might be a bit of a welcome to the Premier League for Amorim in this one. Obviously, they're going to be changing their formation probably to 3 at the back. They're going to be trying to fit certain players in certain roles. How much time he's had on the training ground with these players is, not sure. I think Ipswich are an underrated team, to be honest. I know that I'm not just saying that just because they beat us, but they've had some good performances this season against some good teams. And I think the Delap and Leif Davis and Hutchinson, they're all really quality players, and I think if they do the back 3 thing that they did against us, maybe match up Man United, I actually see Man United having a bit of a struggle in this one. And I remember Villa going there and only getting a 2-2 draw, maybe should have lost, and I think it's going to be a very difficult opening game for Man United here at Portman Road, so I'm going for a 2-2 draw here.
Yeah, I've gone for 2-0. I think it will be a winning start for Ruben Amorim in the Premier League with the formation that he's going to play. Yeah, maybe the Man United players are not adept to it just yet and maybe not used to it, but I feel like if he goes 3 at the back with the wing-back system, I feel like it could be quite a tough nut for Ipswich to crack, albeit they do have good firepower with Liam Delap and the players that you just mentioned, and Sammy Smodics and the like. But I feel like with the first game, the Man United players are going to be bang at it. They're going to want to prove themselves to the manager. So I am going to go for a 2-0 win for Ruben Amorim and Manchester United. And let's finish off talking about Newcastle against West Ham, which is Monday Night Football. Both of us gone for 3-1 to Newcastle. This could be it could be already the beginning event for Lopetegui, but West Ham just can't buy a win at the moment. They are struggling. They are conceding a lot of goals, particularly away from home. So I feel like Newcastle, they've really kind of announced themselves. They've been getting consistent results throughout the season, but I feel like in the recent weeks, the performances have been a lot better. So I fear for West Ham this weekend, and I think they'll be on the end of a bit of a hiding at 3-1.
Yeah, they're starting to turn a corner, Newcastle, for sure. Good wins against Arsenal and Nottingham Forest in the last 2 weeks is evidence of that. And I think Isaac, you can see he's starting to get back amongst the goals after a hard start for him. So I think it's going to be very difficult for West Ham to go to St James's Park and get anything. Even when West Ham do win, like they did against Man United, unconvincing even in that game, to be honest. They could have easily lost that. They against Everton, I thought Everton were much the better side in the first half, and then West Ham were the better side in the second half. But again, you watch the game, it was a boring game. They weren't convincing at all, be it Everton did need Pickford to make some really good late saves to get a point out of it. But I just feel like going away to St James's Park, where the pressure's going to be on them, can they kind of overcome that pressure? Can they ride through it? I just can't see it myself, and I think it's going to be yet another nail in Lopetegui's coffin. So I'm going for 3-1 to Newcastle.
How much longer do you reckon the board at West Ham let these results carry on before they pull the trigger?
Well, suggestions are they're already looking at replacements. So I don't know if it's that much longer, to be honest.
Yeah. All right, so we've both gone for 3-1. Now we move over to the Star Men. It's a big head-to-head this weekend. Sim's gone for Nick Jackson, and I've gone for Alexander Isak. Why Jackson?
Just a player in good form. I think Leicester is a willing opponent for someone like Jackson. I think away from home he's actually been playing quite well as well. I think with Leicester's injuries, I think Jackson can take advantage, so I'm going for him.
Yeah, I've gone for Isak. I mean, he is banging form at the moment. He had a slow start to the season, and now I think he's scored in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in his last 5 goals in his last 6 games for club and country, Alexander Isak, and at home against a out of form and low on confidence West Ham side who concede a lot of goals away from home. I think he can definitely get in and amongst it this weekend with hopefully a couple. So I've gone for Isaac. Sim has gone for Nick Jackson. Let me know your predictions in the comment section below, and who is your star man going into this weekend of Premier League action. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.